Good morning, it's Thursday 27th of May. I am back in the reading nook on what is a bright and sunny day, and of course with a nice hot cup of tea and a parcel to delve into. Now, I've got another big box here. I've already been through it, pulled out a few things from this so far. So we have Mysteries of the World, Scion Companion. Next, Yugman's Guide to Gelspad for the Scarland sourcebook for 5th edition role-playing. So what the box is full of is books from Onyx Path Publishing. So the next thing is Titanomachy, okay, or Titanomachy, something like that. Okay, it's a source book for Scion. Recently, I reviewed Scion Book 1 Origin. So Onyx Path has kindly sent me more books to review. So thank you very much to them. And I will get to these in due time. And I've been basically unboxing as we go, delving deeper into this book. So, Titanomachy. The second war against the gods fast approaches. Are you prepared? Scion Titanomachy has everything a story guide needs to bring the second Titanomachy, or a phase in the eternal Cold War against the gods, to their Scion Second Edition games. It presents new threats from the Titans to their servants, plus their fell powers and birthrights, right for use as antagonists or as new materials for players' characters. It also provides adventure hooks to springboard story guides into action. Scion Origin and Scion Hero are required to use this book. This book includes Titans for each of the core pantheons to be used as enemies or strange allies. 3 adventure hooks to help story guides run epic games involving the second Titanomachy, and dozens of new antagonists from enemy Scions to fearsome monsters. New Titan-themed birthrights and knacks for players to discover and use. Now, Scion is a role-playing game in which the player characters take the roles of the Scions, or sons and daughters of gods. And it is set in a world where gods are real, their worship is accepted, just as any other religion is. And the gods themselves are sort of a cross between a sort of almost celebrities. So they can be there's gossip about them, and politicians petition them for patronage and the like. But at the same time, the Scions, the player characters, they don't yet have the full powers of their godhood or their demigodhood. Essentially, they are taking the first footsteps into the myth that they can eventually come to embody, whether that's Thor or essentially, or Hera, and so on. You know, there's a list of about 10 pantheons in the core book, which covers mostly. You have Japanese, Celtic, Greco-Romano, pantheon, and so on. So there's plenty of choices for the player characters to choose from, and for the players to choose from, and there's plenty of options within each of the pantheons. So this is a source book for it. I've already looked at the companion, and what we've got in here is essentially introduction, and some tech, basically. So some colour fiction basically sets everything up, and again you've got decent artwork throughout, like that. Here's the introduction. Essentially, Concept Warning is an antagonist book full of challenges for the children of the gods. Titanomachy is full of frightening things like abusive parents, trans-exclusionary radical feminists, climate change, and centipedes that eat your brain. Story guides using this book are encouraged to read Chapter 3 Antagonists in entirety. and then discuss content that may appear in their chronicles with their players before they start to run. Always play safely. So there is a warning in there. So essentially, we begin by looking at the taxonomy of a Titan. The Titans in the setting have been imprisoned, essentially by the parents of the player characters, and they are looking to escape. Now, in general, what they try and do is they use their proxies rather than escaping directly. So in here we have, basically the taxonomy of a Titan, their callings as adversary, destroyer, monster, primeval, and tyrant, and explains what roles they fulfill, and then we go into essentially the Titans of the various pantheons. So the Titans of the Aesir, the Norse gods. Here we go, and then such as Jord, Surtur, Ymir, and these will be recognisable games from Norse mythology. And we have things like basically their birthrights they grant in terms of the creatures like cows and so on, their followers, and their guides and their relics. And it does this for each of the different basically pantheons. For the Hindu gods, the Deva, we have Banastra, the thousand-armed king, Saita, the untold stories, and so on. And it's going through again and again. We have the Titans of the Kami for the Japanese pantheon. Again, nice bit of colour illustration there. Titans of the Manitou, essentially the gods of the North American Native Americans. Titans of the Netyr, who are the Egyptian gods. So, as you can see, plenty of choices in terms of threats which the story guide can throw at his players. Let's just see if we can get out of this sun. Unfortunately, this morning is it's a bit bright, so it's basically shining through. So, basically you will have to put up with that for a bit. And we have essentially the Titans of the Shen, the classic Chinese pantheon. To the Celestial Court, Titans of the Teotl, the Aztecs. We've got quite a lot in there. Essentially, really nicely. These can be tailored to the player characters, as encounters, enemies, even allies are changed depending upon how they play. Then we go on to the Titans of the Theoi. So basically, the Romano-Greek. Pantheon, and so Cronus and Echidna, Gaia, and so on. And essentially, those are the ones that will be familiar to probably a Western audience, because essentially we would have been brought up on the Greek and Roman myths of the past. And again, we go on to the Tuatha Dumanan, then once we've basically gone through those, we have a discussion of what they are. What if there are no Titans? No such thing as Titans. It's basically another play option before we delve into a guide to storytelling and Titans at the Table, the War on Titans, Titanic Problems, nice play on words there, or Titanic Problems, designing a chronicle around them and involving the players, and choosing them, which ones are right for your chronicle, and using Titan Scions in your series, so you can actually have, instead of the Scions being Titans, the Scions being the sons and daughters of the gods, you could have them are the sons and daughters of the Scions. So that's another. Sorry, you can have the sons and daughters of the Titans. That's another play option. I'm guessing either NPCs or player characters again. And then we get into essentially a couple of some suggestions on play, and some like the War Eternal against the basically campaign frameworks, that sort of thing. And then we come on to we've got stats for the various characters involved, and it breaks it down into you've got for the Diaspora you have breaks it down into acts, so you've basically got quite a detailed outline of the adventure and how to run them. And then antagonists, we have designing Titanic fights, types of encounters, which antagonists, and basically at what level they are, what legend level they are here. So just so I can catch that, because and we've got several example antagonists ready to throw at the player characters, like Arachne's children, giant spiders, to banshees, child of a pep. And I think a lot of these will be familiar from just general role playing and stories in general that the players will have come across, Fomorians and so on. That things like that will be will have appeared in other role playing games, other stories, even other sort of like horror films, that kind of thing. So yeah, lots of sample characters ready to bring to the table, and of course, because we're doing with Irish myth, we have a Fuka or Puka. There we go. I will be interested to see what that's like, for obvious reasons, and because that's where my nickname and surname comes from. In the appendix we have alternate rules and birthrights and more, right down to the end. So lots of new options and monsters and the like for your Scion campaign. It's probably one of the key source books, along with the Mysteries of the World, the Scion Companion. That provides everything you want for your Scion origin and your Scion hero campaign. So thank you again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. If you've enjoyed this, please do click the like button down below, and if you have any feedback or comments, then I look forward to reading those. Appreciate you taking the time to post those, as much as I'm glad you have bothered to watch these as well. And if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, as and when I upload them, then please do click the subscribe button. So again, thank you for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I hope you have a nice hot cup of tea. I'll be back again soon with another unboxing in the Nook. Bye for now.